Alright, so what we're going to be talking about today is how alcohol affects balance. Now the reason why we got really interested into this subject was because a lot of college students drink too much that it gets to the point where it's considered binge drinking. 2 out of 3 students actually reported that they consumed so much alcohol that it got to their blood alcohol level to the 0.08, which is considered binge drinking, which leads to multiple health issues, personal issues. In the last year, there was roughly 1,825 deaths because of alcohol. Another thing that's a bit crazy as well is that 6,906 students reported that they were harassed by another student because of alcohol, which is really unacceptable. And that's pretty much for the reason why we kind of lean towards this subject. That's definitely something that we need to be talking about. And in the next couple of slides, we're going to be representing all that.
So what we're doing in this part is we're doing the BESS balance test, and we ran an experiment where we had 3 total tests performed, 3 of which are on a flat surface and 3 of them are on a foam surface. And we did this experiment while the subjects were consuming alcohol. So we did one trial where we did all 6 when they were sober, and we repeated it again where we did the 6 total tests when they were at a 0.08, which is technically the legal limit to drink. And the errors we were watching for in this are moving the hands off the iliac crest, which is right at the side, opening the eyes while performing the test, stepping or stumbling during the test, abduction or flexion of the hip beyond 30 degrees, lifting the 4-4 heel off the testing surface, and remaining out of proper testing form for more than 5 seconds. So in this one, we're doing the sober double leg stance, where both our subjects are standing on firm ground. You can notice that none of them are performing any errors yet, and it's past the 5-minute mark, or 5-second mark, so based off this, there's not going to be an immediate termination of the test. And both subjects during this got 0 points for it. In the tandem stance on firm ground, we notice that our male subject's feet are continuously moving over. And then you can see that he steps out, so that's going to be 2 points for the male subject and 0 points for the female. This is the single leg stance on the firm ground. And we notice that his foot's swaying, so that's going to be a point. And the female subject broke figure, so that's going to be a point for that. So they both got 1 point for this one. This is done on the foam surface. Both subjects received 0 points for this one because they didn't provide any errors. It's going to be a tandem on the foam. We already noticed that both subjects' feet are moving, and since she stepped out, that's going to count as a point. That's another point for the male subject. Point, again, because she broke stance. That's going to count as the extra ones. So at the end of it, the male subject received 5 points, and the female subject received 2 points. And notice automatically again with the feet. The female subject, her leg is going above that 30 degree, so that's going to count as another point. And since she stepped out, that's another one. So it's going to be 3 for the female and 2 for the male. And now this is once the subject consumed alcohol and they got to the 0.08 range. We notice that since she's swaying her feet, that's going to count as a point. And both subjects now remain consistent. So the female subject will receive 1 point for this, and the male subject will get no points. And because you noticed since she broke it within the first 5 seconds, that's going to be automatic fail, resulting in 10 points for her.
So hard. They're not joking, guys. They're not joking. What are they saying?
You notice that since his feet were swinging the entire time, it's going to be 1 point for the male subject. And it's going to be on the flat surface. Female subject receives a failure in grade, and his foot is swaying the entire time.
This is so hard.
Now this is going to be on the foam. Both subjects are staying consistent during this test, so this will result in them getting no points. This is going to be the tandem stance on the foam. That's automatic fail for the female subject, and it's a fail for the male subject. So this test results in a fail for both these participants, resulting in 10 points off this.
Oh my God. Stop laughing.
And this last one's going to be a single leg stance on the foam surface. And it's a fail automatically for the male subject and for the female subject, resulting again in 10 points each. So at the end of this, all put together, during the sober session, the female subject accumulated a total of 6 points, and the male subject accumulated a total of 10 points. During the when they were under the influence, that session resulted in 41 points for the female and 20 for the male. So because of this, the female had a 6.83 times worse balance score than when she was under the influence than when she was sober, and the male had 2.2 times as worse when he was under the influence as when he was sober.
Looking at how alcohol affects balance, we have to take a further look at how it affects the brain's function. So first we have to take a look at how alcohol affects the neurotransmitters in the brain. So basically we have inhibitory and excitatory neurotransmitters. So alcohol basically increases the level of inhibitory transmitters, which are the GABA ones, and that pretty much slows down and slurs the individual's speech and their thinking processes. When a person ingests alcohol, also we have to take a look at the cerebral cortex. So it basically targets the behavioral inhibitory centers of the cerebral cortex, making the person's cognitive and thought processes slow down. So basically their regular thinking gets slowed down and they start thinking that they can do things that usually they wouldn't tend to do. Alcohol also affects the part of the brain which is called the cerebellum, which is in charge of balance. It's balance and coordination. So when alcohol is consumed, gaits become off balance and movements are no longer coordinated, which is why they would fail to walk in a straight line during the straight line walk test when testing for like alcohol consumption.
I'm going to be talking about how alcohol affects the muscles. So it's basically characterized by the lessening of protein synthesis and contents, which results in atrophy of muscle fibers, which pretty much implies alcoholic myopathy. So what that is, as we researched, the effects of alcohol directly affects the cytoskeletal muscle proteins. It also directly affects nebulin and titin. So what nebulin is an actin bonding protein, so it binds to 200 actins, which pretty much is found in thin filaments of the sarcomeres, which are in the skeletal muscle. And then we have titin, which is a protein that functions as a molecular spring, which is responsible for the passive elasticity of muscles. So in all that, as alcohol inhibits both, it actually decreases the amount and contents of both of them. Pretty much just having overall muscle malfunction, if anything, just a decrease in function overall.
So in conclusion, alcohol have proven to affect the body in all of the kinetic chain from top to bottom. Initially, alcohol would affect the individual in their cognitive brain functionality. By increased alcohol consumption, it also increases the level of inhibitory neurotransmitter, which slow down the brain chemistry of neurofiring. Next, the alcohol will start to influence the muscle fiber, which is work on the physical aspect. It will negatively impact fibers such as nebulin and titin, which, as Oliver had explained it, another factor that also impact the influence of alcohol could be the person's gender, age, and alcohol tolerance. Which other factors also the weight. Results have shown that if you're more muscle dense or weight heavy, you tend to have higher tolerance.